We're going to hear from the aphasia arm of the SingWell study. So we're going to hear about the SWAM study, the SingWell Aphasia Multisite. So we're here with Narges Bayat, who's a speech-language pathologist and a PhD candidate at the University of Ottawa. In addition to working on her own research pursuits, as you saw in the poster session if you visited her today, Narges has been working alongside Dr. Anna Zumbansan, who is the leader of the Multisite project at the University of Ottawa on different SingWell research projects, including this aphasia multisite study. Thanks, Narges.
Thanks so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present here today. I'm Narges Bayat. I'm the research coordinator of the SingWell Aphasia Multisite project, or as we call it, SWAM. I'm here to give you an update on this project. So the research question for this project is, does the assignment to acquire singing program causes a beneficial effect on functional communication, language recovery, and psychosocial outcomes compared to usual care in the rehabilitation of people with chronic post-stroke aphasia? I'm going to very quickly talk about the study design. So we randomly put the participants into two groups. Group AB received the choir first, and Group BA received the choir intervention later. And we had macro testings. Here you can see macro testing. T1, first macro testing, right before the start of the first choir program for both groups. Then we had T2 at the end of the first choir program. Then we had T3, T4, and T5. We also had micro testings that were within the choir program right before and right after 4 of our choir sessions 2, 6, 10, and 12. For our analysis, T1 and T2 are the most important time points for us. The later, like the second choir program, was there mainly because of the ethical reasons, but our main focus is on T1 and T2. This is a multi-site project. These are the sites that are involved in this project: Ottawa site, Toronto, Montreal, and Tampa in Florida. Our intervention, we have 12 in-person choir singing sessions, 1 session per week, 1.5 hours per session, and these are conducted by a choir director. We also have home singing training, which are 3 half-an-hour sessions per week. This is an example of what our choir director uses as a, can you hear that? Yeah. As a material in the choir session, just as an example. So for example, you can see that it has like a black background, white text, easy to read for the participants. And she recorded all these by herself. Sorry, we won't have time to listen to the whole thing. It was just an example. So about the project status, in Ottawa we had to run a second wave. But the first wave was in 2024. As you can see, we got the ethical approval in February 2024. Then we started the recruitment in March. We had our first macro testing session, T1, in April. The first choir program in May for our AB group. Then T2 in July, T3 in September, and the second singing program in September, T4 in December, and T5 in February the year after. This year, in our second wave, we are very close to end our second choir program, and we will have our T4 macro testing sessions in December, and in February next year we will have our T5 sessions. In Montreal, they are also very close to finish their second singing program. In Toronto, they will wrap up their first singing program soon. And in Tampa, in the US, they haven't received the funding yet, so that's why they haven't started the project yet. About the number of participants, the plan was to have 13 participants in each site. Ottawa, in these 2 years, these two waves, in total we had 13 participants, 7 in our AB group and 5 in our BA group, and we had 1 loss to follow up due to health issues. In Toronto site, they recruited 5 participants, 3 in their AB group. In Montreal, they recruited 16, and they have 6 in their AB and 5 in their BA group. And in Montreal, they had 5 dropouts. Now I'm gonna share some of the challenges and the solutions that we found in each site. For example, in Ottawa, recruitment was a big challenge for us. That's why we decided to include volunteers in the choir, but not caregivers. Volunteers, I mean not research participants, of course, just people to be in the choir so that we would have a bigger group. We also decided to run a second wave with additional funding. We also had difficulty finding speech and language pathology volunteers because in our macro testings we have some SLP tests. That's why we needed some speech therapists. We decided to involve PhD students, SLPs, in the blind evaluations. This was our solution for this problem. In Toronto site, the challenges that they report, again, low recruitment, and the solution, they also included volunteers in the choir. Maybe they want to run a second wave. Also in Toronto site, the choir director had to leave because of personal issues. That's why the coordinator overtook the choir direction. They also had problem finding SLP volunteers. That's why the RAs in Toronto site will do the testings, and they will send the videos to an SLP in Ottawa to do the analysis and interpretation. Transportation was also another challenge reported by this site, which is still a challenge. In Montreal site, one of the challenges was that the choir director's professional fees was more than the budget. That's why they formed a partnership with the Music Association. They also had difficulty organizing micro testing sessions. Just to give you an idea, for micro testing sessions, we do voice tests, which usually takes around 5 minutes, and we do a saliva collection, and that also takes about like 4 or 5 minutes at least for some participants. So yeah, more than that. So that's why in Montreal site that they had 6 participants, for example, in the AB group. It was hard for only 1 RA to do all these tests. That's why they had to have more RAs with additional funding. In conclusion, solid partnership with the community organization is a key, and it's useful for recruitment, for logistics. It's also very important to train research assistants. They can be a backup for choir director. They can help with testings, and it's important to find additional funding resources. I think I wanted to mention some challenges and successes that we had during our micro testing sessions. I guess I won't have time to go into the details, but just very quickly, saliva collection was a big challenge. It was hard for the participants to produce saliva. It was hard for them to understand the instructions. We came up with some solutions, like giving the participants more time or demonstrating the task. But something that we didn't use but might be helpful is to show them a video. Maybe we can use that in in the future studies, so that they can understand the procedure. Next, we did a feasibility study. So Affectiva is a software to detect emotional responses based on a video, and using the videos that we recorded from our voice tests in our micro-testing sessions, we ran a feasibility study because this software is not validated for people with aphasia. And people with aphasia, as you know, they may have some hemifacial paralysis. That's why we use this software, and we found that all of the videos were analyzable, and each video was analyzable for 83 to 100% of its duration, which seemed really good. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer.
Thank you, Narges.
I was just wondering, you have one of your sites is in Tampa, Florida, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't there be potentially a confound, because these people in Florida, they're probably going to be exposed to the sun more, their baseline mood might be a bit higher, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are of course, there are some differences here between the sites, but it's a multi-site project, and we needed to do that because we wanted to have more participants. And as you could see, it was really hard to recruit participants in one site. Plus, in Ottawa and Montreal, we kind of tried to have the more important group, the AB group choir, in spring, summer, so that they could enjoy the sun as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
But the diversity is a strength.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yes.
I have just a comment. With the challenges you face with the saliva collection, we have another strategy, the salivette technique. So this is what we used with our dementia patients.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about what that might look like if we do another wave of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions? I guess we'll also shout out Ellen Cotton, who's our representative from March of Dimes, where the Aphasia Multisite in Toronto is being held. So thank you, Ellen, for being a part of it. Thank you, Narges.
Thank you.